first word is ubiquitous. This is kind of an uncomfortable pause where I'm waiting for a question because we just finished a major section. And
when moving to a ubiquitous service like Microsoft Online, concerned about download domains and things like that, like remote users.
So the question is, when moving to a ubiquitous system like Microsoft Online, do you need to be worried about down-level domains or remote locations or things like that? Absolutely. You definitely need to think about your Active Directory infrastructure, which we're going to talk about. End users and your locations is extremely important because there will be an impact to them because they may have to upgrade, or at least they're going to be logging on to the new system. And so that is an issue. One of the customers we're migrating right now, I think they have like 4 major locations, and so they're basically going to do it in 4 rounds. They're starting this weekend with 1 round, and then they'll do 2 like next week, and then next weekend they'll finalize it. But they're kind of doing a rolling migration. So absolutely, you need to think about that. All right, let's get into the Exchange migration. And so this is the Exchange migration process. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'll just tell you where this came from. This came from several projects that we've actually done. And then after we did the project, we went back and we said, okay, let's highlight the major steps that we went through. And we broke it basically down into the kind of 6 phases: an envisioning phase, which was kind of the business development, then the plan and prepare phase, where they're making up their designs and kind of getting things cleaned up and ready to go. Then the build phase, where they actually got onto the service and started deploying, deploying into Microsoft Online. The pilot phase, where people started actually using the system. The migrate phase, which was kind of their high velocity, getting everybody on. Typically, this is done actually over a weekend in most of the cases. And then the post-migration, what did they do afterwards? So those were kind of the 6 major things that they went through. And then this very specific steps, which we're just going to walk through. The business development, I'm just going to skip that. I imagine everyone in here, you can drop a business plan or this, I want to keep this more technical, so I'm not going to talk about kind of all the benefits and stuff like that. If you'd like to go down the floor and talk to the marketing guys down there, that's fine. Paul in the back is from marketing. He can help you with that, but I'm just not going to talk about the business development. I am going to jump into the plan and prepare, though, and I want to talk about some of the AD and account management things you need to plan and prepare for. The design considerations, I think about that, I don't have a slide on it because most of that you really need to just think about what are the features and the functionality you're trying to do, and then you go through the customer discovery test where you try that functionality and see how it matches. So there's, that's really what you do is you just go out and give it a try, and it's the trial takes you 30 minutes to get on, and then you're just up and running. So I want to talk about the account management, though. When you're in Microsoft Online, you need to think about how you manage accounts and what's in your local Active Directory. How many in here have an Active Directory? Okay. So what most likely you'll do is you'll take everything that's in your Active Directory and you'll sync that up to Microsoft Online. And so that means you just get everything into Microsoft Online. And so there may be more than what you want. And so you do need to clean up your Active Directory, make sure it just doesn't have a whole lot of garbage in it, just extra accounts groups like that. We do have an issue right now with the ampersand sign. So if you have email addresses with the ampersand sign, then that is an issue with directory sync. So you want to look out for those. So that's really all I'm going to say about AD and cleanup. It's just, you're going to bring everything on up. Other than that, about your accounts, the way the accounts are going to work is that you will have a set of accounts in Microsoft Online. They will mimic what you have on premise, but they will be different accounts, which means they will have new passwords that they will use to get onto Microsoft Online, and they'll need to be activated. And so there's kind of a timing here you need to think about. Is like, if I have 1,000 people, when am I going to activate those accounts? Do I want to activate them all right at once, and then people need to start logging on? Well, if you do that, you need to understand that also their mailboxes are activated so they can start receiving mail, and things like that. So you have to think about, what's the phases? Am I going to do, small groups, or am I going to do a big group, and things like that? And we've done them both. We've had customers, we've had one customer that's activated 3,700 users all in one time, and he just said, okay, everyone, let's go. We've had other people, like the other customer I'm talking about, who did kind of rolling. But you just need to have a plan for that. The other thing you need to think about, which is really important, is how you're going to distribute the passwords. Every user will get a random password when they're activated. And so there needs to be a process for how do you get that password out to the end users. It is done when the account is activated. It's not done before the account is activated. So you have to think, okay, when I'm activating this account, how do I get this password? Now, we do have the ability to capture the passwords, so the administrator can capture the passwords and put it in a spreadsheet or a database and do something. Or they can also have email notifications, so the password can be sent to somebody and then they can forward it on or print it out or things like that. So there are ways to do that. We've seen some organizations who have developed scripts around it and things like that. But you just need to think about kind of how you're doing that. So, all right. So that's basically what I wanted to show you around just kind of getting things prepared. Now I'm going to get into signing up for the trial and setting up your SMTP domains. The trial is very easy to do, and in fact, instead of showing you slides on this, I'm just going to actually show you how you